all but, 10 turns total maybe.
What happens when someone casts Show and Tell?
I don't know. Things get messy. All right, so it looks like Amin is ready to go and Ravitz is ready to go. So both these players are going to be drawing their opening 7. Ravitz is going to be on the play, and Ravitz is going to be on the play for the remainder of the top 8. If he wins here in the finals, he was the #1 seed. He had to go 8-1, and he did just that.
Yeah, we saw him play out the last round on camera. He had to beat the Storm deck, and he did, earning himself the #1 seed, which means that in this already super favorable matchup, he gets to be on the play.
Yeah, Josh Ravitz's tiebreakers weren't too good. It might have to do something with him playing against Mike Flores. We're just kidding, Mike. We love you. Now, usually what happens is that someone with bad tiebreakers, it usually means that you lost early in the tournament. So if Ravitz was, say, 2-0, then he would to lose, he's 2-1, and for the remainder of the tournament, he's not playing against anybody who's undefeated. However, if you start 6-0, all your opponents are doing pretty good, and your tiebreakers are going to be higher and higher.
That's right.
Yep. So Ravitz does mulligan. He'll be on the play. 6-card hand. Kind of bad, but not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, definitely not for a deck like this who's just trying to combo off. He doesn't have to worry about discard until turn 2. He doesn't have to worry about force of will until after sideboard. He's just looking for a goldfish hand.
Exactly. And any tech for the sideboard between these guys, or what? Just a couple of red elemental blasts, and that's about it, right?
Yeah, I think so. Josh might bring in the Leyline of Sanctities to combat the Thoughtseizes and Duresses.
Yes.
I would probably bring in at least a few, maybe even the full set.
Yeah. So, I think Ravitz really wants the red elemental blast. He wants to be able to stop, Amin's Brainstorm. He wants to be able to stop his Jace the Mind Sculptor.
And Baleful Strix is a house too. He has to stop.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course.
Okay. So Josh Ravitz leads off with a Scalding Tarn, and he's probably going to fetch up a Volcanic Island, but he might want to play around Wasteland, so he decides to go with an island. I could definitely agree with that.
Yeah, there are 4 Wastelands in Amin Youn's deck, so he has to be wary of that.
Yeah, especially that Ravitz mulligan. He doesn't want to, just get a Volcanic Island, get Wasteland. Now he's down another card as well.
Yeah, getting Wastelanded out of the game is never fun.
Nope, not at all. All right, so there's a Preordain from Ravitz, so Ravitz is going to be able to, kind of sculpt his hand somewhat.
That's right. The only thing he really has to worry about is that turn to him.
Yeah, exactly. So he wants to, maybe hide one of his good cards if possible, with either a Ponder or a Brainstorm.
Yep. So Preordain ships both to the bottom, and Ravitz will draw a random card from his deck.
And it looks like a Volcanic Island.
So land. So I see at least a few lands for him. He has the Emrakul.
Ooh, he has a Misdirection.
A Misdirection for him.
That'll be really nice
wow.
to misdirect the Hem to Torok.
Amin Youn's on the other side. I see an Ancestral Vision.
Yeah,
I see a Brainstorm, a Goyf.
I think I see a Wasteland.
Yep, I don't see a him though.
All right, so he's going to lead off with a Misty Rainforest and just pass the turn. So Ravitz draws for the turn, plays an Ancient Tomb, and just passes.
So he has the Intuition in his hand, so what he's going to do, he's going to end of turn Intuition for Show and Tell Emrakul into play.
Yeah, and hope it's just good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it probably will be.
Yeah.
Because Amin has no way to really interact with that.
The only thing Amin Youn's has is Jace the Mind Sculptor. He could drop a Jason off that Show and Tell. No, Show and Tell artifact creature.
You're thinking of Eureka.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, that's okay. But what he could do, maybe if he plays a Deathrite Shaman, and then he's able to drop a land into play,
right,
he'll be able to actually hardcast Jace the Mind Sculptor. So we'll see if that works out for him or not. All right, so Amin draws off his Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. I think there might be some confusion here, trying to fix the deck so the camera could get everything. Draws an Abrupt Decay, draws a Bayou, and draws a... Ooh, is that a Deathrite Shaman or is that a Charlotte Agent?
I think that's a Charlotte Agent.
Yeah, that's what I think as well. All right, so it's looking pretty bad for Amin. I think this just might be game. I'm not too sure. What do you think?
Yeah, unless he can somehow find a way to get a Jace the Mind Sculptor into play, I'm not sure what Amin can do here on the draw against a pretty fast draw from Josh, rather.
Ravitz does have another 2-mana land, correct? In his hand?
In his hand? He had an Ancient Tomb, I think.
He played an Ancient Tomb. Did he have 2? I think he had 2.
He had a Volcanic Island, for sure.
Oh, just a Volcanic Island? Okay, because, yeah, Amin's definitely going to Wasteland this. All right, in response, Ravitz is going to play an Intuition. I believe Ravitz does have another 2-mana land in his hand. We'll find out in a second. So Ravitz is going to get Show and Tell, Show and Tell, Show and Tell. And he does just that. I believe when Intuition was printed, it was supposed to be 3 different cards.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I heard that from Aaron Forsythe, I believe.
I think they envisioned the card going to find 3 different cards being a weird marginal tutor. They didn't envision this. They didn't envision being demonic tutor for 3.
Yeah, I think it was actually a mistype on the Excel spreadsheet that they have when they design the cards.
I didn't know they had Excel in 1992.
Well, whatever it was. All right, so Amin also suspends his Ancestral Vision.
Spell Pierce drawn from Josh.
It looks like Ravitz didn't have a 2-mana land.
No, he doesn't.
No, all right, so he's got to Ponder. So Amin gets to, survive another turn, it looks like.
Yep, this game's somehow going past turn 3 here.
All right, there's a Grizzlebrand, a Sneak Attack, and I believe a Scalding Tarn.
Yeah, more importantly, the land he needed. He has 1 land in his hand. He has the 3rd on top of his deck.
Yeah, I think Ravitz is going to just keep the Scalding Tarn. He's going to play the Scalding Tarn and pass. So this also allows him to play around Wasteland. Because he'll play the Scalding Tarn, he'll pass. And then even if Amin does have a Wasteland, he can't waste the Scalding Tarn.
That's right.
I mean, he could, but then Ravitz will just sacrifice it. So it looks like the Vision probably ticked down to 3, although I didn't see Amin, adjust the dice. But if we could get that Visions to slide into play a bit more, that would be really good for us. So we could make sure Visions... I don't know. It looks like Visions is still on 4. That was like a 4, right?
Yeah, I think Amin forgot to tick his Vision down.
Yeah, that's... And, with the new trigger policies, if you forgot, you forgot.
Yeah, it stays on 4.
Yeah. Wow. All right. So maybe a couple in there's hitting the top 8 players, the top 4 players.
Yeah, I think Amin is pretty resigned to this. He knows that this is a bad matchup. He knows there's not much he can do in Game 1.
Yeah, after board it gets much better, but Game 1, not so good. Now at least, if Amin does have the Jace the Mind Sculptor, when Ravitz goes for the Show and Tell, he'll be able to put his 3rd land into play, untap, and if he does have Jace the Mind Sculptor and a 4th land, he'll be able to maybe, dodge some trouble.
Right.
So Josh is thinking, Josh just sacrificed the Scalding Tarn. What does Josh want to get? He has 1 mountain in his deck, and he has 2 more islands.
Right, I think he's going to find the basic mountain.
You think so?
Basic island. Basic island.
Okay, that's fair.
Yep, so 2 basic islands for Josh. He's playing around Wasteland. He wants to make sure he doesn't get mana screwed out of this game.
Yeah, kind of interesting because I think Josh is just going to go for it right here anyway.
Right.
So I don't think he'll really care if Amin, untaps, wastes his dual land once he has Emrakul in play. Ooh, there's a Sneak Attack drawn by Josh.
Yep, not really too relevant here. Josh's plan remains the same, remains Show and Tell into Emrakul.
All right, there's a Volcanic Island. There is the Show and Tell. And he's going to put down this Emrakul.
And Amin thinking about a response. Josh knows he doesn't have Force of Will, though.
Yeah, let's see what Amin can really do. I think he wants to just put down a land. That's probably his best bet here. Just putting down a random creature other than Deathrite Shaman won't really do too much.
Right, his only out is Jace the Mind Sculptor.
Okay, that's exactly what he does. He puts down a Tropical Island, and I think Josh knows this. That it's either Jace the Mind Sculptor or bust here. He draws. Okay, he forgets about the Visions again, which doesn't really matter, but it's still something you want to keep up on.
Right. If he did draw Jace and Visions never resolved, he'd feel pretty foolish.
Yeah, exactly.
So Josh Ravitz takes Game 1 from Amin Younes.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Yeah. All right, so...
Josh Ravitz isn't the only winner, though.
No, we're going to have another winner right now.
That's right. We have some trivia to give away. So in case you guys are unfamiliar, in the quarters we gave away 3 months of Star City Games Premium. In the semis today, we're giving away 6 months. And in the finals, we're giving away a year.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
all right, so
I have a trivia question for you guys.
All right, Zach has a trivia question for you guys. I did the last one, so it's going to be Zach's turn.
So we've been talking about this event all weekend, the Star City Open. That's next week. What I want to know, what's the location of this Star City Open, the one that you're going to?
Yeah.
And if you haven't been listening, if you haven't been following along, if you tuned it out when Gerard started talking about it, that's fine. You can go to the Star City website, check out the event schedule, and find the answer.
Do you think we make this a 2-part question?
Hey, if you want, it's a pretty easy question.
SCG Open next weekend. Where is it?
Okay. Where is it?
What place is Gerard Fabiano going to come?
Ooh, that's a good question. I like that. Now, second part, optional. It doesn't have to be right.
It doesn't have to be right.
We have no way of checking.
Your honest opinion.
Yeah, your honest opinion.
I actually have a number in my head.
Okay, we'll see if it matches.
All right.
So make sure, though, this is important.
Yeah.
You use the hashtag SCG Premium right there. If you don't use that hashtag, you're not going to get entered into the drawing.
Yeah, so make sure you use SCG Premium and follow us at SCG Live.
That's right.
And also go to Facebook and like us on the Facebook page. Can you believe it? When I did my first commentary, we had about 24,000 fans on StarCityGames.com. Now we're closing in on 40,000.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. So
Star City Games, Star City Live gets more and more people, more and more viewers every Open.
And the one thing I like about what place I could come is that on Twitter I think there's a maximum number.
Yeah.
So if you put 9999999 is eventually going to stop.
Okay.
So,
okay.
all right. So where is the SCG Open next weekend?
Yep.
All right, we're going to go right back to the players.
Is he going to finish?
Sure. Why not? All right. Let's go back to the players. They're going to be sideboarding. I'm gonna love some of these Twitter answers. All right. So Ravitz is looking at his opponent's deck list. Amin is looking at Ravitz's deck list. So it's definitely going to be interesting. Right there, we have their sideboard. All right, Josh Ravitz, he has 4 Leyline. He has another 4 Leyline. He has 2 Echoing Truths. He has 3 Red Elemental Blast, and he has 2 Through the Breach. What does Amin have?
Well, Amin's got, most importantly, 4 Force of Will. He has 2 Duress and 2 Thoughtseize, as well as the 2 Surgicals. Those are the 10 main cards he's going to be bringing in. The ones he won't be, Kitchen Finks, a pair of Engineered Plagues, a Golgari Charm, and a Life from the Loam. These are all just way too slow and way too marginal. He's going to bring in his Disruption.
Yeah, so his Disruption package, he has 2 Thoughtseizes. Those are definitely going to go in. He has 2 Duresses. Those are definitely going to go in. He has 2 Surgical Extractions. I kind of like those. 4 Force of Wills. Of course. What do you think about the Golgari Charm? Do you like it in there? Do you not like it?
I'm not a big fan of it in the sideboard in general. Would I side it in this matchup?
Maybe, right? I mean, is it an answer to Sneak Attack now?
Yeah, it can't really hurt because he has so many dead cards that he doesn't want in his deck.
He really does,
He'll probably side it in for some marginal card.
Yeah, and you never know. Amin might be at exactly 15 life. Ravitz is like, all right, attack with 15, Annihilator trigger. All of a sudden, he's like, everybody gets -1/-1. I go to 1, I untap, and I attack you with my Tarmogoyf for the win.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so a quick update. Zach Mullen is actually up a game against Dustin Taylor. So right now, we might have a Sneak and Show versus a Sneak and Show. Both the Sneak and Show decks are up a game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So how do you think Josh Ravitz is going to sideboard? He certainly wants the Ley Lines of Sanctity. Probably wants the Red Blast to fight off Force of Will. What's he going to take out?
You know what? That's the whole thing. When you're playing a combo deck, it's really difficult to sideboard because you don't want to take out your combo pieces. You don't want to take out, if you have any disruption or card search. So it really comes down to the player's discretion.
Okay, so you think he might be trimming a few spells, something like that, maybe a cantrip, maybe cutting a Lotus Petal for this matchup?
Yeah, something like cutting a Lotus Petal could be fine. He still wants to Spell Pierces because they do stop at Hemp-to-Torok. Ravitz is going to be on the draw, and he knows that Hemp-to-Torok is a very good card against him. Ravitz wants Misdirection and Spell Pierce to be able to either redirect it or stop it cold.
Right, kind of a nightmare matchup for Amin Younes. He has to worry about Misdirection for his hymns, his best card in the matchup, and he still has to worry about a redraw from Josh Ravitz.
Yeah, seriously. So this is pretty crazy. But it looks like both players are having a really good time, and we'll see if both players decide to keep or not.
Yep, so Amin Younes, we said he has all of these bad cards to side out. What are some of them? Baleful Strix, Shardless Agent, Ancestral Vision is too slow, Abrupt Decay.
Abrupt Decay. What's that really doing in there,
Absolutely nothing against Josh Ravitz.
Nothing against Sneak and Show.
Nope. Umezawa's Jite, Pernicious Deed, all of these don't do anything. So he has like 18 cards he could side out.
He really does.
There aren't even that many cards in his sideboard.
Yeah, it's only 15 sideboard max, so...
Maybe he'll side in the Kitchen Finks for some additional beatdown.
No, I don't think so.
It's pretty good to sack to Emrakul, you get it back.
Yeah, it's not that bad. All right, well, in the meantime, Josh Ravitz actually mulliganed again, so he's going on to 6 once again, but as you saw in Game 1, Josh mulliganed to 6, and the game wasn't really too close.
No. Amin Younes held on for a while with some semi-disruption in the form of Wasteland, but in the end, it wasn't close.
Yeah, if Amin picks up his hand again, I wouldn't mind zooming in, but as for now, he just placed it down. He's probably pretty comfortable with his hand. He's joking around, smiling, so down a game, but if he has a strong hand and Ravitz is mulling him to 6, he might be liking his chances to see a Game 3.
Yeah, I think Amin Younes at this point is in the just happy to be here camp.
Yes, definitely.
After beating so many Storm decks.
All right, so let's see if Ravitz likes the 6-card hand or not. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and
7?
Yeah. I think I just counted a bit too high right there, but I'm pretty sure it's only 6 cards.
Yep, Ravitz in the tank about this one. It doesn't look like he likes it, and yeah, he is shipping it back.
He's going to 5, and Amin really likes this. Especially when you're playing a card like Hemp-to-Torok, you're playing Thoughtseize, you're playing Duress. Your opponent mulligans, just pretty much Ravitz is like, okay, you already Hemp-to-Torok me.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, Josh right now probably looking for a Ley Line of Sanctity. He would love that to protect the remaining 4 cards in his hand. Amin Younes has no answer to that except Pernicious Deed, 1 Golgari Charm.
Sure.
So, not very many.
This is a spot where if Ravitz were to play a card like Blood Moon in the sideboard, it could be really devastating. No matter what he mulligans down to, if he just drops an early Blood Moon, Ahmed could just pretty much not be able to cast almost anything for the rest of the game.
Right, his only outs to it are 1 snow-covered island and 4 Deathrite Shaman.
Yeah, so
That's not much.
I think people forget to play Blood Moon lots of times. It's just such a powerful effect.
Yeah, I think people forget to play basics lots of times too.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of that, people forget to play a card like Back to the Basics as well. You know, lots of times you're playing a blue control deck, you have a lot of islands. Your opponent's definitely going to have many dual lands, so Back to the Basics is strong as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
So Josh Ravitz shuffling his deck. He's only going to get to draw 5 cards, trying to defeat Amin Younes 2-0 here.
All right. So Ravitz going to lay out 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2. I got to count. I got 3, 4,
5, 6, 7.
6. Oh no, Ravitz, what are you doing? All right. Josh.
Ravitz with a shake of the head.
Yeah. He's not going down to 4. All right. So Amin leads off with a fetch land and a duress, and we'll see Ravitz's hand. So you have Volcanic Island in the front, but that's about it. So he gets a Bayou, and ooh, all right. Right here, I would take the Ponder. What about you?
Yeah, Ponder or Brainstorm, certainly. The fact that he has no shuffle effect probably means Ponder's the
yeah.
play.
Yeah, I'll take Ponder. And you know, you kind of want Ravitz to Force of Will one of your spells.
Yeah.
Because that means he mulliganed down to 4 instead of 5, because Force of Will is just 2 for 1ing himself.
Yeah, I'm surprised that, well, I was going to say I'm surprised that Josh has Force of Wills in his deck after board. He maybe trimmed 1 or 2.
Sure.
You still have to have some, though.
Yeah, you know. Maybe Josh likes Force of Will over Spell Pierce, but I really like Spell Pierce.
Spell Pierce is great at stopping that him.
Yeah, exactly. Stopping the him, stopping a Brainstorm, you know, because just stopping early discard spell as well.
Right.
All right, so Ahmed is still thinking, I guess, but I think it's got to be the Ponder here. What do you vote on?
Yeah, Ponder is so powerful. Brainstorm is really more of a mid-game card. Ponder's an early-game card.
Yeah, exactly. All right, and he does just that. He takes Josh Ravitz's Ponder. So Josh is not really left with too much. It's just a Force of Will, an Ancient Tomb, and his only action card is really a Brainstorm because that other Force of Will is not really doing too much.
No, I expect him to put that Force of Will back with Brainstorm at the first opportunity.
All right, so Ravitz draws a Lotus Petal.
Yep, not what he wanted, but...
Yeah, not really. So it looks like Ahmed has his own Brainstorm. He has a Deathrite Shaman. I don't know if I see another land in his hand.
Wow. Deathrite is another land. It's just has Summoning Sickness.
I think he must have another land. It was probably a sack land. Yeah, in the form of a Misty Rainforest, I believe. So Ahmed's hand looks pretty strong.
Right.
And Ravitz plays an Ancient Tomb and passes the turn.
I really like that play from Josh Ravitz. He plays the Ancient Tomb.
Ooh,
he doesn't want to
draws a Wasteland.
Right. He doesn't want to get his Volcanic Island wastelanded.
Yeah, but if I was Ahmed, I would go Deathrite Shaman Wasteland right here.
Yeah,
he does just that.
You still play the Wasteland, but I like that
sure.
Josh Ravitz didn't get his most important land wasted.
Exactly. Ooh, there's a Grizzlebrand.
Okay, one step closer.
Yeah, but still, I think Ravitz would just rather have something else there. Maybe another land, maybe a Ponder or whatnot.
Right. Josh Ravitz isn't going to be able to hold this Brainstorm for too much longer, especially if Amin Younes drops the Tarmogoyf here.
Yeah, let's see what Amin decides to do. He should have access to 3 mana. So I think he wants to play the... He definitely wants to get his Tarmogoyf down.
Yeah, I think creeping Tar Pit into Tarmogoyf is the play.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty strong play here.
You still have Force of Will back up in case something crazy happens.
Is that what Amin has in his hand?
I believe he has Force of Will with the Brainstorm.
Okay. So he's playing a Goyf, and dropping a creeping Tar Pit would be pretty nice here as well.
Yep, great play by Amin. Creeping Tar Pit in addition to that Goyf means that's a pretty fast clock.
And I think he also has a Thoughtseize in his hand.
Wow, that's a great draw by Amin Younes.
Yeah, it really is. This just shows the power of the Bug Agent deck after sideboarding. After you could just pretty much sculpt the deck the way you wanted to be sculpted.
Right.
1, 2, 3. All right, so Ravitz Brainstorms.
Is this an end of turn Brainstorm?
This is an end of turn Brainstorm.
Wow, so Josh Ravitz trying to find another Lotus Petal or a land and a Show and Tell. He figured he couldn't wait till his main phase. He needed to cast Show and Tell that turn, but he didn't find it.
All right, so he's gonna put back the Ponders? No, maybe. Maybe we'll put back like 1 Ponder. I'm not really too sure what Josh is thinking about here.
Yeah, Josh is kind of overloaded on cantrips at the moment. Right now his limiting factor is his mana. He has all the cantrips in the world, but not enough time to cast them.
Yeah, and I mean, this is really bad for Josh. Josh is down 2 cards to start with. Josh also got a turn 1 Duress. He lost his Ponder, and now he's facing down a Deathrite Shaman and a Tarmogoyf. And Amin still has, you know, cards in hand, so it's not all that Amin has.
Right. So Josh really tanking on this Brainstorm, trying to figure out some line that lets him fight through Amin's disruption.
All right. Josh is really taking a long time with his brainstorm, and you can't really blame him. You know, when you're down 2 cards to start the match, then you get turned under duress. You can't really make any play mistake. You have to try to play as best as you could.
Right. Basically every card he has, the importance of it is just so amplified since he has so few to work with.
Exactly. I think Josh finally settles on 2 cards. And he's going to pass the turn back. That was actually a main phase brainstorm.
Okay,
yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
He was searching for a fetch land.
All right. So Amit now with his 3rd land in play.
Yep, now this is a great situation for Amin because he gets to Thoughtseize Josh, he gets to activate Deathrite Shaman, and he gets to attack with Tarmogoyf for a great turn.
All right, there's a polluted delta. So I think Amit wants to lead off with a Thoughtseize. That probably makes the most sense here.
Yep, just in case he can bin something that makes the Goyf bigger.
Exactly.
And Josh is in the tank on this one. He's thinking about misdirecting.
Yeah, he could. It would be, you know, Josh would lose 2 cards, but why not, right?
So would Amin.
Yeah, let's see. All right, so that's exactly what Josh does. He will misdirect the Thoughtseize, and the Thoughtseize will now target Amin.
That's right. Now Amin has the Brainstorm in his hand. He can use it if he wants to, hide a spell on the top of his deck.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Now, Amit gets to choose which card he wants to discard, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
He still controls the Thoughtseize. He gets to make all the decisions on the Thoughtseize.
Exactly. He just has to target himself.
Right. So
Okay.
Amin is going to Brainstorm in response.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. He's probably going to get a tropical island here or an underground sea. All right, so Amin fetches up a tropical, I'm sorry, not a tropical island, an underground sea, and he will play a Brainstorm in response. All right, so Amin does some shuffling. Zach, what do you think about this play?
I would Brainstorm. There's not really any reason not to. Even if you hit all spells, you still get to choose what you discard.
Exactly.
Not a big deal. Fills up the graveyard for the Deathrite Shaman, digs you deeper to a Jace, deeper to a counter spell, a discard spell.
Exactly. Ooh, a Wasteland.
Wasteland is good.
Yeah, he can't play the Wasteland this turn, though, however. So I see Wasteland, I see Tropical Island, and I think I see another Deathrite Shaman, maybe?
Yeah, those aren't great, but this isn't a ponder, so he has to keep them.
Yeah.
And he should put 2 spells on top.
Yeah, that's exactly what he should do.
Lands.
Just keep the 2 lands. Keep the Wasteland and the Tropical Island, so he won't have to lose a card off the Thoughtseize. So now that Thoughtseize essentially worked at a Hemstorok.
Right, but
Yeah.
importantly, Josh Ravitz gets to protect the card that he cares about, probably the Gristlebrand.
Yeah, probably. We'll see what happens in a second. All right. So Amit will still lose 2 life because of the Thoughtseize.
Right. And now the red zone.
Yep. I think Amit is on 16 life if I'm not mistaken. He took 2 sack lands and a Thoughtseize.
Right, he hasn't gained any life off Deathrite.
Okay. And I think he's not going to be gaining life off Deathrite. I think he's just going to be doming Josh for 2 life each turn.
Yep. So here we go. Josh finally finds some lands, ponders into Ponder and a few lands.
So I see a Force of Will in his hand. I see a Lotus Petal. And Josh has, oh, that's a pretty good Ponder. Ponder, Scalding Tarn, and an island.
Right, exactly what he needs. He needs some lands.
Yeah.
Still has to find the show and tell, but he's 1 step closer. He has the mana now.
Yeah, he does. This still looks really bad for Josh, though. Josh is just down to 3 cards. After he selects what he wants to do with the Ponder, he'll draw into a 4th card.
Yeah, he's on the ropes here. He needs to find a way to get that Gristlebrand in play.
So it looks like Dustin Taylor is still in game 2. He lost the first game with his American Delver deck. We'll see if he can fight back and win the next 2.
Right, the fact that the game's going long certainly favors Dustin.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so Deathrite will go to work on Josh's life total. He'll drain him for 2. Amin will now untap.
Josh Rabbit's down to 15.
And I'm just going to draw the card that he hid last turn.
Is that a shardless?
Yeah, that's what I think it is. I think Amin wants to wasteland that volcanic island.
Yep,
Keeping Josh off his mana is really important.
Yeah, priority number 1 here. Amin can't let Josh get to 3.
Exactly.
We know Josh doesn't have the show and tell, but Amin doesn't.
Yep. All right, so Amin's thinking for a second, but I'm pretty sure he's going to go with the wasteland. He's going to lead off with the agent. Let's see what he hits.
Well, he does know the top card from the Brainstorm. What was it?
It was another agent. There's a Force of Will. Oh, a Tarmogoyf.
Well, that's
wow.
pretty good.
That's
That
a
speeds up the
lot of
clock.
pressure. A lot of pressure. A lot of action. Lot of action. All right, so a little shuffle for the Cascade. Those cards will go to the bottom of Ahmed's deck. And now Amin will almost certainly play this Wasteland and use it targeting the Volcanic Island. I can't see another play.
No, he gets in for 4, and now here comes the Waste.
There goes the Waste. There goes the Volcanic Island. Josh is just left with a lone island. The Lonely Island. I think it's like a song or a group. Lonely Island.
If not, we should make it.
We should definitely make it. All right, so Josh is probably going to ponder, and that's exactly what he does.
Yep, trying to find the show and tell. I think he has one more
2,
turn.
3, just all lands.
Yeah, he has to shuffle. Oh, yeah. He just scoops him up.
All right, and that's game. So they're going to a game 3. Amin on your left with the Bug Agent deck. On the right, Josh Ravitz with Sneak and Show. So far, Ravitz mulliganed 3 times this match. First game, he mulls to 6. Game 2, he mulls to 5. Game 3, maybe a mull to 4, or maybe a keep on 7. What do you think?
I think it's going to be a keep on 7 with a
so.
ley line of sanctity.
Oh, really?
He's got all his mulligans out of the way.
Yeah.
And now he's going to ley line him. He's going to show and tell him. He's going to Emrakul him.
Yeah, for sure. Now, Dustin Taylor actually won the second game. You were right. You said the longer the game goes, the more it favors Dustin. And Dustin actually tied the match 1-1.
That's right. So both these matches going to game 3.
Yeah.
Dustin and Amin now will have to win game 3 on the draw. So I really like Sneak and Show's position here.
Do you think it might be a Sneak and Show versus Sneak and Show finals?
I think we're going to have a Sneak and Show versus Sneak and Show.
If it is a Sneak and Show versus Sneak and Show finals, I think everybody could be in bed by 11 o'clock. If not, if it's the Bug Agent deck versus Dustin's American Delver deck, the match would probably take a bit more because there might be a lot of creatures trading, a lot of really tough decisions with lightning bolts, swords of plowshares, abrupt decays, and whatnot.
Yep, creatures trading, creatures cascading, dice swinging.
I honestly think the Bug Agent versus the American Delver deck would be maybe more exciting to watch. But if you're a combo player and you love watching combo, maybe you want to see Sneak and Show and Sneak and Show. So Amin will be on the draw this game. Ravitz on the play. I think Ravitz has to like his chances here.
Yeah, on the play, especially with the ley lines. If he can just land one, that just deads 8 cards in Amin Younes' deck. His 8 discard spells.
Will definitely play a big role here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like somebody tweeted in. What did they say?
Lonely Island is Andy Samberg's musical group.
Oh, awesome.
That's right, too. He's on a boat.
He's on a boat.
Yeah, that's the one.
So that's what I was thinking of.
Yep.
All right, so both these players are shuffling up.
Yep, doesn't look like they made too many sideboard changes.
Yeah, it's like lots of times people say, oh, if I'm on the draw, you bring in this. If I'm on the play, I bring in this. But, these cards are going to be good against Sneak and Show.
Right, no matter what.
Draw or the play.
A lot of times when that happens, it's a matchup that is more interactive, that's more creature combat.
Exactly.
This one, you just want the best cards in the matchup, no matter what.
Yeah, so as you guys see, you guys can play along at home, see how you guys would sideboard. Ravitz's sideboard is on the right. Amin's sideboard is on the left. Kitchen Finks, 2 Engineer Plagues. I wonder how important and how many times Amin used those Engineer Plagues in this tournament. I didn't really see too many Goblin decks. I didn't really see too many Elf decks. Sometimes you want to bring in the Plagues versus Lingering Souls. But maybe if Amin ends up winning the tournament, we could talk to him about those Engineer Plagues. Engineer Plagues usually a hit or miss card throughout the tournament. He also has 4 Forcibles, the 1 Golgari Charm, 2 Surgical Extractions, 2 Duress, 1 Life from the Loam, and 2 Thoughtseize. And Life from the Loam with his Wastelands is a really scary thing for a lot of decks to face down.
Right, the Life from the Loam in the Wasteland bug deck has been a staple. It's always great when you draw that one and combo them out.
Yeah, definitely. I love a Life from the Loam. And next week, if I do go to the SCG Open, I'm not going to say where it is quite yet, because I don't want to give away the answer. I'll most likely be playing some version of Bug Agent.
Right. Now, Amin Younes, with those Engineered Plagues, I don't think we saw any Goblins, any Elves,
I was just saying that,
yeah.
It's just pretty insane. All right, Amin, making a couple of faces. Ravitz, on the other hand, he looks a bit more comfortable this time, and he says keep. Amin's not too sure about his opening 7, but I think he says, you know what, let's rock and roll. All right.
Ooh, there it is.
There it is. The ley line.
Keep it the 7 with the ley line.
Yeah. So that's definitely a really good start for Josh.
Yep. Ravitz coming through in the clutch there.
Yeah. This is probably more of a reason why Amin, probably boarded in the Golgari Charm. Not only could he hit a sneak attack, he could also hit the ley line at Sanctity, just for 2 mana, and then start working on Josh's hand. Ley line Sanctity, you could put into play before the game even starts, and you can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponent controls.
Right. And we have a pretty interesting tweet. Dante Smith, Amin is pronounced Amin, so
Amin.
Better late
Amin.
than never. We've
all
been
right.
pronouncing it wrong all tournament, but thanks for the correction.
Do you know what I mean? Or I mean?
I know what you mean.
What I mean. Okay, I got you. All right, in the meantime, Josh Ravitz plays a ponder, looks at the top 3 cards, and he'll decide what he wants to do. It looks like Josh has a lot of counters in his hand.
Yeah, more of a controlling hand. He has
Yeah, two Force of Wills, yeah. And he decided to keep with the ponder, and he draws a Misty Rainforest. So he's probably looking for some lands, and that's exactly what he got. There's a Wasteland from Amin, and a Deathrite Shaman. Turn on Deathrite Shaman, pretty good.
Oh yeah, it's exactly what Amin wants. He really needs the turn 1 accelerator to go into his Shardless Agent to accelerate to a possible Jace too.
I think Amin could be playing some Lilianas in his deck, or at least a sideboard. That's just a really powerful draw. Turn 1 Deathrite Shaman, turn 2 Liliana the Veil.
Yeah, Liliana and Deathrite, best friends forever.
Yeah, they really are. Throw some Lingering Souls in there, and you got yourself a deck.
You got yourself a modern Jund deck right there.
Yeah.
So Josh Ravitz on his turn 2, thinking about a ponder, would way rather have a brainstorm here. He has far too many Force of Wills.
Yeah, I think Josh might actually hold this ponder, because he doesn't really have to worry about a discard spell coming from Amin because of the leyline.
Yeah, he can afford to play the slow game here. Might just say go.
Yeah, now something interesting, Amin can still use his Deathrite Shaman to hit Josh for 2 life, because Leyline and Sanctity says I can't be the target of spells or ability, but Deathrite Shaman says each opponent loses 2 life.
Ah, tricky wizards wording Deathrite for multiplayer there.
Yeah, exactly. Alright, so Josh uses his Misty Rainforest. He wants to play around Wasteland, and he gets a 2nd island, and he might just play a ponder here. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, it's kind of weird that he got the island
before the ponder.
Before ponder. I wonder what his reasoning there is.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he thinks he's going to keep, both cards off the ponder. Maybe he's just going to pass. Kind of uncertain, but he's going for the ponder anyway.
That's a weird line. You usually don't see people crack their fetch then ponder.
All right, so there's 1, 2, 3.
And Josh Ravitz gets lucky to hit a fetch land there. Can you imagine if that was land leyline? He'd have to shuffle.
Sure. Now, Ravitz's argument might be because he pondered last turn, he knew that one of the cards he definitely didn't want. Right. So his ponder would only have been a 2 card. So, but
that's an argument. Yeah. Instead, I would just rather wait a turn then.
Yeah, I think Josh was going to wait a turn, and then he decided to go for the ponder. So this is definitely a tough play here. We'll see what Josh does with this ponder.
Yeah, he does need the 3rd land, so
yeah,
he decides
definitely
to keep.
And it's a Misty Rainforest, so again, he could play around the Wasteland.
Yeah, see, now Josh has to draw another one of those cards, so that ponder wasn't the best.
Maybe. Well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm not saying you played it wrong, but it was a pretty weak one.
All right. So it looks like Deathrite Shaman's going to add a mana. He's going to remove the Misty Rainforest from Josh Ravitz's graveyard, or the Scalding Tarn, whichever he chooses.
Goes with the Tarn, so that's 2 mana. Baleful Strix.
All right, there's a Strix. He'll draw a card. Strix is a 2 mana 1/1 flyer.
With that touch.
Yeah, with that touch. And there's a Creeping Tar Pit, and Amin's just going to pass the turn.
Yep. Now Amin drew him to Torok off that Baleful. Yeah. So far 2 discard spells just dead in his hand.
Yeah, definitely. And I believe a Surgical Extraction is in his hand as well.
Oh wow.
Okay, so he draws a Force of Will. That's going to be really good right now.
Yeah, I think at this point, Amin just has to get aggro with that Creeping Tar Pit.
Yeah. All right. So Amin has down a 1/1 flyer. He has down the 1/2 Deathrite Shaman, and he also has the Creeping Tar Pit. So we'll see what Amin tries to do here. So he's going to lead off, and he's going to sacrifice a Polluted Delta. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, right. So just looked up the Oracle of Surgical Extraction. It does not get countered by Leyline of Sanctity. It says search its owner's graveyard.
Sure, but without the discard, it's
Right,
yeah,
exactly. You're limited by what's in Josh's graveyard.
Yeah, the main reason why you want to play Surgical, you want to be able to go, turn 1 Thoughtseize, and then take your best card and remove all of them from the game.
On turn 1.
Exactly.
Neutering the Show and Tells from Josh Ravitz's deck goes a long way.
Yeah. So if you look at Ravitz's graveyard, there's nothing to Surgical Extract. There's just a Misty Rainforest and 2 Ponders right now. And his graveyard is not really going to be filled up with stuff because there's no Hem to Torok and whatnot.
That's right. So Amin removes that and swings in with the Tar Pit and the Baleful.
All right, so Ravitz takes 4 damage.
Yep, going aggro. And right now, Amin somehow is in the driver's seat here. Josh Ravitz just has Force of Wills. He has no Show and Tell.
Yeah, Amin could definitely use a blue card, so he's able to pitch it to the Force of Will.
Right.
And Ravitz again plays around the wasteland, getting up his third and his final island.
Yeah, Josh Ravitz using that fetch land right there because the third card down from that ponder was a ley line of sanctity.
And he definitely does not want ley line because that's just a mulligan right there.
Right. So Josh Ravitz 14, Amin Younes 19.
Yeah, he's on 19. All right, so Josh shuffling his deck. I think right now it looks really good for Amin.
Yeah, it definitely does. Josh only has a few turns.
Yeah. Josh is down to 13. He took 1 point of life from that fetch land. So yeah, he's facing like about a 3-turn clock.
Yeah, and we'll see what he can rip here.
Yeah.
Okay, Volcanic Island gives him a few more outs. Now he can draw Sneak Attack.
Yeah, he could because of the Volcanic Island and the Lotus Petal.
Right.
I think Ravitz should probably just hold on to that Volcanic Island. There's no need for him to play that into a wasteland.
Right, even though
does
Amin
just that.
hasn't played the wasteland yet, he still has to fear it.
Yep. Ooh, did he draw a Forcible? All right,
He did.
so Amin draws his second Forcible. So now Amin has a blue card to pitch to his first Forcible.
Yep, it seems like that's really good for Amin, but in this case, it doesn't really matter. Josh Ravitz will be able to force back.
Yeah, exactly. Amin cracks a fetch land with the Misty Rainforest.
Oh,
It looks
maybe
like.
not.
No? It looked like he was about to put it in the graveyard.
Yeah, it might still be on the stack.
Yeah. We'll see what happens here. Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah, really interesting play
Looks like
here.
he's holding up a hard counter force of will.
Okay, maybe he wants to do something with like a hard counter force and a surgical. I don't really see why you wouldn't attack with Creeping Tar Pit.
Right, at this point I think it's pretty obvious that Josh Ravitz has no gas, he can't combo you.
Yeah.
Instead, Amin will just drain Josh for 2,
Yeah,
holding up the force.
I think Ahmed, misses out on 3 points of damage right there.
Well, really,
Or at least
he
2
only
points of
misses out
damage.
on
2 points, yeah. Because the Death Ray Shaman could have attacked and along with the Creeping Tar Pit.
Right.
All right. So now Ahmed finally plays his Wasteland. And I think he just wants to bash in here. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think you have to give Josh Ravitz as few turns as possible to draw his sneak to draw his sneak or show.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so Ravitz will fall to 6 from the Creeping Tar Pit and the Strix. And Amin will probably just pass the turn here.
Yeah.
He's got Force, a couple discard spells, and a Surgical Extraction.
Josh Ravitz has one more draw step here.
Yeah, and this looks really bad for Josh.
Even if Josh draws a show and tell, I'm not sure if it'll be enough.
Yeah, looks like a misdirection,
Wow.
and Josh extends the hand.
Amin
Wow,
Young.
yeah, Amin just running so good, maybe.
Wins 2-1
Playing good. Yeah.
with Josh Ravitz. Congratulations.
All right. And yeah, Amin says, my combo matchup's really bad, but he's 5-0 against combo decks, correct?
I think it's more than that. I think he played against some other combo decks in the tournament too.
Really?
Yeah, he played against 4 Storm decks. That's what I'm sure of.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah. All right, so congratulations to Amin. You're going to make it to the finals, and you're already in the finals essentially. As long as you stay in this room